I'm Danny Seidemann. I'm an Israeli attorney based in Jerusalem, and for the last 26 years I've been dealing with the geopolitics of contemporary Jerusalem. So it is absolutely essential to view Jerusalem as a geopolitical entity, also the location in which you have the depositories of sacred memory for Jews, Christians, and Muslims. In ancient times, the temple was basically the hub of Jewish life. When the Second Temple was destroyed, the significance of the Temple Mount was not lost, and it remained the focus of Jewish yearning, the focus of a Jewish belief that the Jews would return to the land of Israel when the Messiah returned, in which the new temple, a third temple, would be restored. So Jerusalem, the Temple Mount, and the land of Israel very much remain part of the fabric of Jewish faith in the diaspora continuously. There are Christians in Jerusalem who trace their roots back to the time of the life of Jesus. It's a living community that is testimony to the life and death of Jesus. There has been a Muslim presence, attachment, and devotion to Jerusalem for the past 1,300 years. There are a number of Muslim beliefs that are associated with Haram al-Sharif, al-Aqsa, the noble sanctuary. And the status quo in general terms means that Israel recognizes the authority of the autonomous authority of the Muslim endowment, the Waqf. It is exclusively a place of worship for Muslims. It is to be open to the dignified and respectful visits of non-Muslims, and it is being eroded by increasing presence of people who, Israeli Jews, who do not hide their intentions. It's like having a guest in your home who takes out a tape measure and starts measuring for the drapes because you're not going to be here much longer. Formally, the status quo is being maintained, but the sense of violation among Muslims, from my perspective, is very understandable. The UN resolutions of November 29th, 1947 were self-determination for the Jewish people and the Palestinian, each in their respective states, a Jewish state and a Palestinian state, and the Palestinian state has not come into existence. Jerusalem was to be neither. It was to be an international city with the residents being citizens of their respective countries, but basically administered internationally. Israeli policies since then have been driven by three major goals. To create facts on the ground that would make the city indivisible politically, to maintain a robust Israeli Jewish majority, and to consolidate Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. The platform by which we did that was settlements. Since 1967, Israel expropriated about 1/3 of the privately owned land in East Jerusalem. Today there are approximately 212,000 Israelis living in those settlement neighborhoods and 320,000 Palestinians. So this has radically changed the geography and the demography of the city. Does that make a political agreement impossible in Jerusalem? The answer is no. And Jerusalem's status, even in the face of the United States moving its embassy here, remains the quintessentially contested city in the world. It is not yet fatal to the possibility of a political agreement. It soon may be fatal, because the map of Jerusalem will be so balkanized as to make the creation of an independent Palestinian state impossible. This conflict may never end, but if it ends in Jerusalem. And the American move purported to take Jerusalem off the table. It was a hollow gesture with enormous ramifications, because by recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel unilaterally and outside of the framework of a political process, the United States disqualified itself from any role as broker in Israel-Palestine. American leadership has dissipated. It's gone, and it's not coming back anytime soon, because you cannot mess with Jerusalem with impunity. Jerusalem's a very kind city to people who treat its complexity with the reverence it deserves. It's one nasty town for people who ignore that complexity. The Christian community in Jerusalem is the canary in the coal mine. When the Christian community is ill, and it is ill, we are all ill, we just don't know it yet. I think that there's a very real danger that these communities will be transformed from being a living testimony to the life and death of Jesus into a museum piece, confined to the cloister. And a Jerusalem in which Christianity will be a museum piece will be a more dangerous city. It will reflect on the hemorrhaging interface between Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, and it will undermine the historic and religious integrity of the city. So maintaining a vital Christian presence here and creating awareness of the faith dimension among decision makers and how to soberly incorporate that is of great significance not only to Christians but to Israelis, Palestinians, Jews, and Muslims. And that's what Churches for Middle East Peace does.